And we are we want the gold, sucker! We want the gold, sucker!
So make her that anti-hero, right? Like the Venom of wrestling, where you don't necessarily hate him because he is always, contrasting against Spider-Man, but you're supporting his behaviors because you understand where he's coming from. You understand where she's coming from, where her storyline is going. That's all I'm saying. Like, we can be invested in the story without you having to turn her heel. That's all I'm saying.
Best anti-hero of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Would you agree? Great way to start the show this week. Great way to start the show, because what's dominating social media this week is that people think, and people want to think, that Becky Lynch is the next Stone Cold Steve Austin in the making. What up, everybody? I'm your boy Ben Goose, and along with that boy, don't know so.
I had to get you back, son. I had to get you back.
Sage to Mark. I played that clip thinking, oh man, Sage is gonna love this. Starting off hot with a clip, and Sold, I loved it. I loved it.
Good. That's all good, man. That's all good, man. I told you, Ghost. I'm telling you, they listening to us. I'm telling you, we came hot after SummerSlam. The week after SummerSlam, we were coming hot. We was telling them, please don't turn Becky heel. Don't turn her heel. You don't need to. She's perfect the way she is. The storyline is already set. All you got to do is just have her not give a flying hoot.
Just let it be. Let the story ride, right? Let it be.
Let it ride.
Let it be. That what you just heard on the show. What you just heard on the show was direct. It was about the hour mark of last week's show. Just under the hour mark of last week's show. We discussed specifically the way Becky Lynch should be treated. And this week on SmackDown, what do we get? She comes out, beats up Charlotte. I love the ending. Loved it. And Twitter blows up. Bully Ray on his podcast, or on his radio show, XM radio show, Busted Open, specifically even said she is kind of like the Stone Cold. So I wonder if Bully Ray's listening to us. Probably not. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. We have 4,000 downloads easily. So maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I hope he is. At least give us some props if you are, or don't give us props. Say you hate us. Either or, it doesn't matter to me. I respect his grind, but that to me is big. Let's start off the show with Becky Lynch. Would you say Becky Lynch was the superstar of the week this week in professional wrestling?
2 weeks straight, bruh. 2 weeks straight. Becky Lynch. Hot fire, straight fire. Oh.
So, did you notice she's wearing all black? She's wearing darker colors. I love that. When I see heels and faces, I like seeing the little things where they go from wearing, she wore greens and browns, all that stuff, but she's not wearing, the glasses on the top of the head, the pilot glasses or anything like that. She's just dressed like a normal person. And then that ending, you bitch. Oh, great ending.
Yeah. Money.
And I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. It goes right into the Austin 316, the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. She put pictures of her getting kicked in the back by Charlotte and her punching Charlotte in the face. And her on Twitter, she said, the difference, something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, the difference between me and you is I don't do this to your back. I do this to your face.
That's right. Yo, that's when that GIF needs to come in where you have the glasses come down and then it just turns gray. It says Thug Life.
Yes. That would be great. So, yeah, Becky Lynch, you get the Superstar of the Week award, hands down. Everything you're doing, we already know you got it in the ring. So I kind of like this character. I kind of want to see. Not as aggressive, but maybe a couple of kind of Conor McGregor, that going with the Irish passion type thing. Some Conor McGregor in her where she's like, I'm sick and tired of trying to do the right thing. I don't give a fuck. Well, she ain't gonna say that on TV. I'd lose my mind and be like, this is the greatest.
Hey, you don't have to censor. I mean, if Fook is not really a bad word from Nielsen and standards or whatever the rating company is. So
true, and it's if it's on TikTok, little American fact here. Well, I guess it's not a show that's geared towards audiences. I watch a couple shows on FX, and yeah, they drop the F-bombs like it's nothing. But yeah, if she went kind of like with that Conor McGregor, I'm not talking about the over the top, fur coats, all that stuff, but just like you know what? I don't care anymore. I'll whoop your ass. I'll whoop hit, and she didn't even have to cuss, but I'll beat you. I'll beat you. Look, nobody disrespects me. I don't care if you're heel face. I'm gonna knock you out in the ring, or I'm gonna make you tap out.
Damn,
that's the way it goes down.
I love it, man. The icing on the cake would be if CFO changes her music, man, to be something dark, but something like upbeat at the same time, like just something, man. I can't put my finger on it, but her music's got to change, man. And they need to debut it at Evolution. I think is it Evolution or Hell in a Cell that's coming up?
She's fighting it. Oh, we should know this because it's in San Antonio. It's Hell in a Cell that's next.
Okay, September 16th, Hell in a Cell. So that's when they need to debut the new change in her song. My opinion, I think that's the only. And then her character is just complete, man. She gets that little strut going, and what I want to see going forward, I don't want her to see her just attacking Charlotte. I wanted to see her attacking like everybody. Someone comes down the ring, you got Alana and you got Naomi going at it, and Becky just comes in and lays both of them out, and then just cuts a promo.
She lays out the heels' faces. It doesn't even matter, and keep her promos maybe kind of short because it is tough for her to. She's doing it well, but she's just got a natural charisma, a natural face charisma. What if? I'm telling you, I really like the Conor McGregor thing where she just doesn't care. It's Stone Cold too. I don't care who you are. Sage said it last week. DTA, don't trust anyone. I don't care who you are or anything like that. And maybe at the Women's Evolution, or hell, maybe at Money in the Bank, she beats up somebody backstage on Raw. One of the Raw talent. And she just gives, I beat you up, Sasha. What are you going to do about it? Have fun on Raw tomorrow night. You ain't on SmackDown.
Just damn, imagine. I love that, son. Yo, that's hot, Goose. So, Becky Lynch invaded everybody.
Would you like... Here's my thoughts. I've said this before on the show, and I think it's clearly going to happen. They're giving Charlotte a ton of title reigns so it could match her dad. I'm not saying she's bad in the ring. She's awesome in the ring, but it's just the Flair legacy thing that goes hand in hand. So it's okay if Charlotte loses a title because she'll just win it back at some point. Yo, what if at their match... Maybe it's the opening match of the night, right? The curtain opener. Not kickoff, but the opening match of the show. Or the middle, the middle of the show. So fans are like, you know what? We're about to get probably a 20-minute match here, 15-minute match. Yo, what if she beats Charlotte? She makes her tap. Not in a squash match necessarily or anything like that, but what if she makes her tap? What's the name of her finisher? The armbar thing?
Disarm her.
Yeah, the disarmer.
Disarm her.
The disarm her. What if she locks it in the first minute and a half of the match and Charlotte taps? Bruh. Wouldn't that be? And it's not a squash. It's just like again, maybe I'm just buying into the Irish Conor McGregor hype when he beat Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. Or, well, I guess a couple of the Eddie Alvarez, a couple of the guys that he's beat that you just, it wasn't a squash. good competitors in the ring and all that. It just, hey, you got caught. You know, hey, I think that would bring the element of surprise because it's not necessarily a squash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I would be okay with it if after she hits the disarmor, she doesn't let it go. Like I don't want it to be like a squash in the sense like boom, give me my belt, I'm out. I want to see boom, I'm not letting it go. I'm gonna beat that ass. I'm gonna take the belt. I'm gonna go. Like she's like straight up attitude. Like she's
But
got that attitude.
does that make her too much heel?
I mean, not necessarily. I think the whole thing is you keep the promos like self-centered. It's all about me. You become an equal opportunity ass beater. So it doesn't matter if you're a heel or a face, you're gonna get these hands. Like if she could just kind of stick to that formula, I think she'd be all right, man, without having to worry about cutting her heel because she is and she always had. I mean, she's the flag bearer of SmackDown. Like she was the first. I mean,
yeah,
it's I think you're all right. I think you'd be all right. Just stay away from cutting negative promos against anyone other than the talent that you're facing, and just make it like I don't care. I'm looking out for number one, looking out for myself. And I think you'd be all right with Becky.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her. I am so excited for her right now, man.
This was a good week in wrestling. I got to admit, Raw and SmackDown were both entertaining. They had their little surprises here and there. Raw, two big surprises actually on Raw, but I just thought both the shows this week were good. One thing I missed, I don't know if it was fast forwarded through it or what, but there was a backstage segment on Raw with Jinder Mahal and Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Did Ambrose talk, or is he on week 3 with no talking?
He talked. Jinder Mahal did the whole Shanti,
Yeah.
and Dean Ambrose kind of played along with it. And then he says, "I see you in my dream, and I see me beating you up, and blah 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 blah. And now you need to get out of my face." And then after that, they ended up having a match. So I was like, I think it would have been fine if they just cut that promo and left, but they cut the promo and had a match, and it was kind of dumb.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he ended up beating Jinder Mahal. So
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. That was kind of we saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Raw, I thought was good. I liked the start with Braun coming out, and there was just things about Raw that I really liked. Braun coming out at the beginning, and Roman hinting at like a Shield Open challenge. I thought that was pretty cool. Just if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Doesn't really matter. But just something to add on to a promo that Roman Reigns does. Just maybe a hint of the future. Maybe, who knows if it's going to happen. But Braun coming out and interrupted him. So it looks like we're getting another Braun Strowman Roman Reigns feud. And
no open challenge.
No, not at all. So Braun announces that I assume it's official. He's cashing in his Money in the Bank at Hell in the Cell, right?
So that's the way they're playing it, but I don't think that's the way it's going to happen.
Talk to me about that.
All right, man. So let's talk about Kevin Owens first, because that's kind of to me what's bleeding into everything. So Kevin Owens has his match with Seth Rollins. The match was like flipping amazing. I love the fact that he used the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah.
on Rollins. I thought that was pretty awesome, man. After he ended up doing his the pop-up moonsault from the top rope.
The second to third rope moonsault.
Yeah, so he ended up doing that, missed, got caught with the curb stomp. Yeah. And then 1, 2, 3, and it was over. Went to commercial. He came back from commercial, and he was in the center ring. Basically said that he quit. So that's kind of how that went down. It's obviously a work, although WWE has been doing a pretty doing more than the most to try to sell this whole he quits thing. On the WWE website, he's now officially promoted from superstar to alumni on their website, which I thought that was pretty funny. I gotta admit that was pretty awesome. Then you've got like, you know, the YouTube stuff saying, hey, does he really quit? And then the Fandom Boy saying that, hey, it's All In. He's going to All In and stuff like that. So, you know, got that circulation going on. So what I think is going to happen, and this is just me, this is obviously a work. Kevin Owens signed a 5-year contract with the WWE. There's no future endeavors clause in there, anything like that. So this is definitely a work. What I think is going to happen is I thought it was odd that Braun Strowman gave Baron Corbin the briefcase to hold and have him cash it in. Like basically said, hold this, I'm cashing it in at Hell in a Cell. So what I think is going to happen is I think KO is going to somehow get his hands on the contract itself, cash it in on Roman Reigns, and Braun's going to be left out in the dust from the match. That's how I think is going to happen, man. And if that does happen, yo, I'm already marking if it happens. I mean, if it just the thought of it happening, but if it happens, bruh, I will never complain again, man, because that's like the best thing in the world if that ever happens.
So it would have to happen technically before Money in the Bank.
No, it could happen. It could happen at Money in the Bank, man.
Well, but once the bell rings for Strowman versus Roman, then it's official. That's the cash in.
That's if Corbin has the actual contract. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think that there's going to be some shenanigans that's going to happen at Hell in a Cell where KO has the briefcase and I don't know, man. Like maybe the Shield comes out and the Shield gets into the cage and they lay out Braun Strowman 1, 2, 3, and then somehow Braun gets out and starts laying waste to everybody else, and then KO comes out and cashes in. I don't know. Some crazy is gonna happen, but I think KO is gonna be the one who actually cashes in the Money in the Bank contract, man.
Yeah. It very well could be. I think that's super creative. I think especially if Braun's not coming out with the Money in the Bank briefcase for the next couple weeks, or it's not heavily showcased.
Well, he doesn't have it. That's the key thing, right? Like he's already given custody and control to somebody else. And who is to say that somebody else is going to really protect the case, right? It's got to happen, man. That's the only thing I can see with KO right now, man. It's just like he's going to get that case. He's going to get that case.
Sami Zayn is out because he's injured, right?
Right.
So I think that ultimately, regardless of what happens, I actually think with the KO situation, I think that WWE is actually just giving him a break, partially. Like, dude, Sammy's injured, but him and Sammy have been on their grind for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got to give those guys, because they've been in the business so long. They're not like 25-year-olds or anything. I think that they're getting a little bit of a break. But man, whatever happens, KO is so good that I know there's reports of maybe putting him with Paul Heyman or sending him to SmackDown. I don't think any of those things are going to happen. The SmackDown thing's already been done. He's burned his bridge there. Putting him with Paul Heyman is stupid. There's no point of putting those two guys together. But yeah, if he ends up finding a way to cash in, I think it'd be amazing. I mean, he's got to come back within the next month, because you got a couple big cards coming up in Australia and stuff like that, and then Survivor Series. Which, by the way, I was thinking today, man, Survivor Series is awesome because that's coming up in 2 months here, and that's a total entertaining throwaway pay-per-view like we talked about last year. So I loved Kevin Owens saying I quit, and he sold it great. I think him and Sammy can pull off that. You know what? I quit. 2 quick words. And there was a huge delay between the end of his match to when he actually announced it. So I loved it. Now, you mentioned something a second ago. There's people who are wishful thinking and hoping that he shows up at All In. before we move on to, you said you wanted to get to what, Braun later on, right? Or no, what was it that you?
That was the whole thing. I think like the whole Braun situation, like to me, I think the ultimate payoff is KO cashing in the Money in the Bank contract. It's
Okay.
something that we've never seen before. They've had a couple of times where they tease giving the Money in the Bank contract to somebody else, right? John Cena put it on the line against, I think it was Alberto Del Rio or someone a couple years ago when he had won it. And then, Braun and KO had that opportunity there too. Oh, and Cody and Sandow had a match as well for the
Money in the Bank. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is the actual year we see the shenanigans with the Money in the Bank contract, and I think that would be pretty awesome. But that's all I wanted to say about that.
So would you consider the ending of Raw an official Braun Strowman heel turn?
So I know that's the debate everyone said, and I think the execution of what they did makes it look like it's a heel turn, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think this is just kind of retribution for what happened to him last week with the Shield just kind of, doing
Same
the
here.
triple power bomb. I honestly thought that the Shield was going to be turning heel. I mean, the last 2 weeks, I mean, Roman's been acting like a heel, calling Braun a meat shack, and then them protecting the world title or the heavyweight title, universal title, whatever. So it's kind of hard to read where exactly. I don't even think they even know how they want to, like, what direction they want to take Braun. I think it's a mistake to try to turn him official heel when he doesn't really need anyone's help. I mean, the whole point of having the Hell in a Cell is to keep the Shield out. So why would you need to turn him heel? Doesn't make sense.
I agree. I think that it was more so retribution, but not an official heel turn. I think it was retribution for what the Shield did to him and him just not caring about Roman Reigns in general. He's never liked him. And I think after their match at Hell in a Cell, I think Braun's going to end up, I mean, champion. If he's a champion, he's a champ. If he's not, he's not. I think he's going to end up feuding with Drew McIntyre or Dolph Ziggler. I think that's kind of where it probably laid the foundation, because I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but it looks like we'll get a Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus McIntyre and Ziggler, I'm sure, at a future Raw or Hell in the Cell, right?
Yeah. I think that's what it is. We're gonna get the tag team match between them, and I don't think the universe or the Intercontinental belt will be up for grabs at Hell in a Cell.
No, I think it was there to build a heel. It was there to build a Hell in a Cell match, like what happened with Braun. I don't think he turned heel. I think it's like you said. It was just kind of the circumstances at the time. It was he's fighting Roman Reigns, and WWE wants Roman Reigns to be a super face, so you got to have somebody be a heel. So you got to have somebody do heel tactics, because Braun Strowman gets cheered a lot.
Yeah,
and he's one of the most over faces. So at least for the feud in the time being, you've got to get kind of a little bit of hatred towards him, but not full hatred. So I didn't see that as a full heel turn at all.
Yeah, neither am I, man. I'm not reading too much into it, and honestly, I could care less if he's a heel or a face. I mean, he just kind of does his own thing. I mean, he's not going to cheat to win.
Not at all. No, not at all. Let me ask you something. You mentioned something that stuck with me a minute ago. You mentioned that Kevin Owens quit, and there's speculation about him going to All In. All In is this Saturday. We'll get to our predictions here in a bit. There's another guy out there who may show up at All In.
Yeah, buddy.
Before we get into the name of that guy, I have to ask. So with Kevin Owens quitting this week and Neville getting, after what you text me earlier, 100% released from his contract without a no-compete clause, do you think, obviously WWE is aware of the All-In show, but do you think that Vince McMahon and the WWE because no other wrestling promotion can even touch to compete with these guys. Do you think that they are doing things not kind of to help All In? Like with All In this weekend, they could have released Neville on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
They could have done the Kevin Owens storyline next week.
Yeah.
Do you think WWE kind of wants to help All In?
I think the answer is yes, man, because they're trying really, really hard, like really, really hard to land Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Like that's like their priority. And this is kind of, I think that what's going on right now between Neville and KO is kind of the olive branch to them to say, hey, we're here to help. Because you got to remember one thing. This is a privately funded venture. Like this isn't like a promotion that's putting this on. These are guys who got investors to fund this event, and some other promotions are coming in to lend their talent to put on this show, kind of like a co-branded kind of thing. But it's not like an official promotion,
right?
Kind of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like I'm not saying this as a mark, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Owens actually shows up to kind of break that fourth wall, kind of like how CM Punk did the whole Comic-Con tour with the belt that he left.
Right. Yeah. And while he was already re-signed. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if KO shows up. I don't think that, I think they'll do like NXT where he's just in the crowd or something like that. Neville, on the other hand, I think Neville's actually going to be there, and I think that he's actually going to compete against Will Ospreay. I that's just my feeling. That's my gut feeling. I know that the Young Bucks like to toy with their fans a bit, but
yeah, I saw the picture. I definitely saw the picture.
It's a little. It's enticing, man. I'll take the bait as a mark on this one, man. I'll take the bait as a mark. I do think Neville will show up and be involved in some capacity in this All-In event. And if oh my gosh, it'll be great. So not first off, but kudos to everyone involved in this All-In. Like this is good stuff. Like really, really good stuff. And
great for the wrestling world. We'll get into the All-In card here in a bit. I think WWE, and I'm going to put, I think of, if I worked for WWE and Vince McMahon, Sage DeMark, and Ben Goosen work for WWE, we're in a weekly meeting with Vince McMahon, and he says, "Oh, you son of a bitch! What do you think? What do you think of this All-In pay-per-view? All these feces. Throwback. Vince McMahon. If y'all remember the old episode of Raw, he couldn't say feces. He said these fecal matter. They're intruding on my brand." I think with what if I was to pitch this to Vince McMahon, I would say, with digital media the way it is now, YouTube, online pay-per-view, bootleg streaming, all that stuff, you want competition because, let's face it, All In, it's the biggest indie event of all time. They sold out a 10,000 seat arena. That was their goal. I'd say, Vince, we sell out like 60 to 100,000 seat arenas for WrestleMania. They got 10,000 seats. I mean, we get 10, 15,000 just on a Monday night just because we feel like it. So there's no competition. So Vince, we've got the money to do a lot. We're the powerhouse in this game. These people on this All-In show, they're showcasing their talents to come to us, Vince. They are going to showcase and go all out. They're going to put on the best show they ever could so they could make it and have that WrestleMania main event. So let's release Neville, a guy who just doesn't want to be here anyways. We tried. It didn't work out. Amazing talent. Let's, this week, kind of falsely let's falsely get rid of KO and do like what Sage said earlier and have him sit in the 5th row. And then if he's sitting in the 5th row and he's not on TV, Twitter and social media will take care of that for us.
Yeah, buddy.
So, you know what? Let's draw some attention to those people, because when those people come to us, they're already made names. Look at Ricochet. Ricochet's got a huge following because he's known elsewhere. So if we can get people known elsewhere and they come to us and we put them through NXT for a little bit, it helps the NXT brand. NXT helps the WWE subscription count. We need to help with competition, because these people aren't going to get a national, they're not going to get a Fox Sports, they're not going to get a USA TV deal like we just got. And now that WWE has signed that $500 million TV rights deal, let's be honest. I truly don't think there's another TV network that is going to invest even $100 million into a professional wrestling alternate. So you've won. WWE has got a lock on the world. They just say, at this point, how amazing is that? You're saying, you know what? I want the other people to do good, because when they come to us, they bring their following. And with social media the way it is these days, think about it. Kenny Omega, I'm going to have to look it up on my phone here in a bit. Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks combined probably have at least 1, 2, 3, 4 million followers on social media. You bring those guys to the WWE, you're bringing 4 million. I mean, it doesn't really work out that way, but per se, you're bringing 4 million social media. You're bringing 4 people in with a combined 4 million social media followers.
That's right.
That's the way you got to look at it these days. So I think WWE, I'm agreeing with you, Sage, is smart for throwing out those, hey, KO, we're going to switch up the storyline, but guess what? You're going to quit this weekend. If you just happen to want to go to All In, go right ahead. Because guess what? And I bet you anything, the ego in the WWE has to think, hey, KO, go. Because guess what? Your buddy, maybe you met him, maybe you haven't. CM Punk is not going to be there. CM Punk he's going to be counting his dollars pretty soon because of the legal fees and all that stuff from the Colt Cabana lawsuit. Didn't work out in UFC. If you pay attention, I went back and listened today because I was curious about it. What was it? Last Chicago show we had, the CM Punk chants are starting to die down. The CM Punk brand is starting to die a little bit. We need to promote All In. So I just think great move by the WWE if this was in their mindset to help promote the All In pay-per-view.
Great. I agree.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man. I'm all in.
So another one of my highlights before we get into the All In predictions. This week, SmackDown, I think it started off with the New Day in the ring. Maybe it didn't start off. I don't remember specifically, but
that segment was hot, bro.
that was one of the greatest segments I've seen in a long time. I love Booker's face and the fact that he came out as King Booker with the English accent. I listen to Booker G's podcast. It's a great look up Booker G's podcast. Such a great show. But his King Booker is amazing. And it brought me just so many memories back to the gimmick itself. And man, it was great to see him hit the Spinneroonie. The New Day, well, 2 of the 3 hit the Spinneroonie. It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, I loved it, man. And I've been kind of clamoring for it for quite some time, man. Thinking, man, if New Day gets the 5-time tag team champions, you know, there is no way that they're not going to do something with Booker T, man. Like, they just got to do it, man. And I loved it when Booker or when Big E got up and said, "Hey, you gave them names, but you didn't give me a name." What's up with that?
Yes. And Booker kept the straight face the whole time, man.
Yeah, he did. Man, dressed up in a suit with some sneakers.
A suit with some sneakers and that long robe. Oh, and the crown. It brought me back so many memories. And just as King Booker. Who would have figured him winning King of the Ring would have gotten him over so much with Queen Charmel and just King Booker was a great gimmick. SmackDown otherwise was good. I like a lot of what's going on in the WWE right now. I don't know if there's new writers. I heard Jason Jordan and Zack Ryder are producing some content.
Jason Jordan's producing?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
Oh no, I didn't. I mean, I knew he was like out, like his career's probably over, but I didn't know he was.
Yeah. So he was out with an injury, but now he's starting some backstage stuff. And what match? I think he did maybe a women's match last week or something. That's what the sheets are reporting out there, but that he's doing some backstage stuff. Dirt sheets, it's not really gossip or anything. I mean, if you got a career in WWE and you're not wrestling in the ring, then hell, you might as well do some backstage stuff. But yeah, that Jason Jordan and I think it was Zack Ryder was the other one, who are kind of, or maybe Matt Hardy, who are doing some kind of backstage stuff these days.
Okay. Hey man, like SmackDown was just top notch, man. It was from beginning to end. I love it, man. SmackDown is just winning. It's got the formula. Whoever's doing the writing is doing a fantastic job. We got to see Cien Almas and Daniel Bryan. That's some WrestleMania stuff right there, man. Yo, I ain't even mad to Cien lost, man, but that match was just like, it was all kinds of great, man. Absolutely love it. That backhand, that back arm he does.
Oh.
God.
I think there's certain things in wrestling that just look like, man, that hurts. There's no way. I know wrestling, they rehearse this stuff, but if I was in a match and Cien almost was like, all right, check this out. I think I'm going to hit you with 4 or 5 of the backhands to really help sell it. I'd be like, nah, fam. Nah. Your ass, nah. Your ass is going to hit me with 1. Maybe 2. Yeah. It was SmackDown was good. I thought Raw was good. SmackDown was good. We had the return of Trish Stratus, who forever doesn't age. She just looks amazing. We had a Bella Twins cameo, didn't we, this week?
We had 2 Bella sightings, man.
Yeah, we had 2 Bella sightings.
I don't know how I feel about that, man.
So do you feel like they're above the WWE because they do a lot, or they're popular in the mainstream? Not above it, like in a bad way, but just...
No, but they're treading on that John Cena territory already, man. And I hate that. I don't like when you take part-timers and you put them in main spots. Like, to me, that's just kind of, I mean, it looks like they're going to end up, Ronda Rousey is going to end up fighting Nikki Bella at some point, and I'm not a fan of that. And apparently the Bella's going to do a tag team match on Raw, and then Brie is going to have a match on SmackDown. So like, I'm just like, yeah, I would rather see Naomi and Lana mix it up, man. Like,
well, they got to start promoting, doing something for the all women's pay-per-view. So I think we're going to, over the next month, see a lot of
literally almost every segment promoting that pay-per-view, man. Like, I don't think you need them to sell the pay-per-view. Let the ones who are actually going to be doing the work sell the pay-per-view.
Is the Mae Young Classic, does that wrap up the same week as the, and I haven't read spoilers, by the way, so does that wrap up the same week as Evolution? Or is the finals is at Evolution? The
finals is at Evolution. Bracketology was yesterday, and I just got finished recording my review on that, so that should be coming up pretty soon. First round is next week, next Wednesday, right after NXT. I should have the second review up by then, or episode 1's review up by then. So, but it's all supposed to lead up to the finals at NXT. I'm not NXT, but Evolution.
So the bracket is officially out, right?
Yeah, bracketology is officially out, and I've got it.
You know what? We're gonna do this right now. I'm gonna pull up the bracket.
I got it.
Mae Young Classic bracket. I've got it right here. I'm pulling it up. Let's go. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I don't know who any of these people are.
You know some of them, man.
No, wrong button.
Don't get the spoilers, man, because I'm doing a spoiler free with a prediction. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So just for the followers, if you want to get a copy of the bracketology, just go to wwe.com/MYC for Mae Young Classic. And you can actually download the bracketology and kind of fill it out yourself to see who you think is going to win all the way.
What the hell?
So
Wasn't Kavita Devi in the last tournament?
who? Yeah, she's in. Yeah, she's in it.
She's in yeah, she's fighting Caitlyn in the first round.
She's fighting Caitlyn in the first round. You have Allison Kay, who is Sienna, which that's interesting. They signed her because she's her, Becky, and Charlotte have like legitimate heat. So it's pretty interesting to see that WWE signed her because
wow, Mercedes Martinez. Wow.
Yeah, Mercedes Martinez. She's on the right side. We got Ashley Rain, aka Madison Rain from TNA. She's actually a knockout. So she's actually there. And WWE actually said that she was a TNA knockout. So that was pretty awesome. Or former TNA knockout.
Shame Kylie Ray's not on here. She'll be on next year's, I hope.
Yeah, I think there's a strong possibility that she will be on next year. She actually did a couple of Impact tapings, which I thought was pretty interesting. So
that's awesome. Well, she came back from the broken clavicle, I think.
Yeah. So she
finished a match with a broken clavicle.
We got Rhea Ripley.
So call it right now. I'm looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 32 participants.
Yep.
Call it right now. Who are in the finals and who wins?
I've got. I mean, should I be revealing it now, or should I be waiting for our review, bro?
Well, no, it's just I would say, and this is your review may be way different because I would say, and keep in mind, fans, we have not read any spoilers. Pick 2 people that you think are going to be in the finals. And then, you know what? If you're doing the special, which Sage Mark did last year as well, go into our archive and check it out, or go into our YouTube feed. Just type in "It's Real Wrestling Podcast" on YouTube. Check it out. You can see the 2017 Mae Young Classic review by Sage and Mark. I think we could pick some, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, a lot of these people aren't, huge names in the business by any means. Like last year, if you told me to do a bracket, I would not have told you. Just at looking at the names and not knowing much about a lot of these women, I would not have told you it would have been Kairi Sane in the finals at all.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious that she was going to be in the finals, man. I think that Shayna Baszler was kind of like those two were pretty much primed to fight one another. I thought. In any event, I'm having trouble determining who the final 2 will be, but the final 4 I have is Killer Kelly and Allison Kay, aka Sienna, and then I have Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai as my final 4, man.
Okay,
I don't think Rhea Ripley is gonna win just because she's the new UK Women's Champion. Which I'm kind of upset that they didn't even broadcast that on the network at all. They just had the tournament and gave her the belt. But I think it's going to be Io Shirai versus Allison Kay for the finals, man.
All right, I'm going to go with Lacey Lane because I've heard that name before somewhere. Versus fuck it, Deonna
Purrazzo.
I don't know who any of those people are, but you know what?
Deonna Purrazzo is the one who Asuka annihilated on SmackDown Live, bruh. like in vicious fashion on her first week.
That's all right for Asuka still. And you know why they're not ready for Asuka? Because she hasn't been on TV in a month.
That's it. Well, she's been on TV. She's not in a match.
No, not at all.
She breaking up Becky Lynch and Charlotte, but she ain't in the match.
That's the best role. You know, that's the funny part I've always thought about being a wrestler. When you show up, I assume every single wrestler has to get dressed, just because you never know if something happens and you got to be on TV, especially when they show the behind the scenes segments or the, hey, this person needs to break up a match segment and all that. So it's kind of like Asuka has to show up, go through hair, makeup, and get dressed, and then just chill and then not be on TV. So that thing as a wrestler is good and bad, because Asuka's not going. If you're in that position where you know, man, I ain't going anywhere. Like my career's, I'm good. Like Randy Orton. Remember the other week when he had to show up to work just to come and kind of peek his head, out the back and look at Jeff Hardy? You remember that?
Yeah.
And then a cameraman or a director eventually says, all right, cut, we went to commercial. And you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to go home. Then that's the perfect job. If you show up to work as a wrestler and they're like, you're going to be in this segment that lasts maybe 20 seconds. Or Elias lately. Hey, look, go out in front of the crowd, sing your song. I need you done in about 2 minutes. And you're getting paid a lot of money. So there are some perks. There are some really cool things. It just sucks you got to get dressed and travel and all that just for all that stuff. I want to get into the All In 2018 card.
Okay.
So let's start with... I don't want to go with the Battle Royal yet, because I feel like there might be some surprises there. So let's get into something. I got the card pulled up. So I've seen a lot of these, a lot of the talent here, just at local ROH shows. I want to get into the Briscoes versus SoCal Uncensored. I don't know much about SoCal Uncensored, and I feel like since this is a major show, I think I'm going to go with the Briscoes here. There's two guys that have a lot going for them. They're big on the indie scene. I think they're just going to pull out the W here.
I don't know, man. The Briscoes, they're kind of in their stage of putting people over, man. So
Good point.
Yeah, I got the other team winning this one.
Addison Rain versus Chelsea Green versus Britt Baker versus Tessa Blanchard. I think this has the ultimate writing of Tessa Blanchard getting the win and being in WWE by January.
She's under contract with Impact Wrestling.
Is she really?
Yeah. She's going to be there. She'll be there.
Didn't she just did the Mae Young Classic last year?
She did last year, but I mean, she wasn't signed to a full contract. She was just signed to like a 5-week stand or something like that. But
all right, I'm out. Madison Rain.
Yeah. I got Britt Baker winning this one, man. Just because, you know, her husband's Adam Cole and she's a great wrestler.
Wait. Her husband's who?
Adam Cole.
Yeah, Sage Mark. Forgive us, fans. Forgive us, fans. Who is her husband?
Adam Cole.
No. I'm gonna give you. My
bad. Adam Cole, baby.
Yes, that's who her husband is.
I gotta
shock the system. Yeah, don't ever come. And I got a text this week, a funny text from one of our loyal listeners who comments frequently, Stephen Thatch. He texted me and said, "Hey, I'm making shirts that say Stephen Thatch, baby. Do you want one?" And I politely, responded, "No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I love that shirt." And he's in the process of getting a Stephen Thatch, baby shirt made. So, yeah, good call on Britt Baker. Stephen Amell and Chris Daniels. I think this is a great match. I saw Stephen Amell here at ROH in San Antonio. And he works out, and he's committed to... he's a fan, obviously, and he's committed to wrestling. So I actually think this match will be But it will exceed most people's expectations, just like Ronda Rousey did this year. I think Stephen Amell and Chris Daniels, a veteran, will exceed expectations, and I got Stephen Amell picking up the win because Chris Daniels is a veteran.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Amell doesn't lose. I mean, he's never failed the city at all. So I've got Green Arrow winning this one. This will be his second win. His professional wrestling career will be 2-0.
Big match here. Joey Janela and Hangman Adam Page. This one's tough, and I say that because the full-on current incarnation of the Bullet Club is on this card. So part of me thinks Hangman Page is going to win because they're going to push the hell out of Bullet Club merch over the next couple weeks, especially live and at the venue. So I wonder if I kind of think of it like in the past when the NWO members would win matches, even if they weren't great wrestlers, just because the NWO was a big thing going. And you don't want to make the Bullet Club look weak. And in a street fight, you can go through some shenanigans and win a match. So I actually have Hangman Page winning this one.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Penelope Ford. So I got to go with Joey. It's a Chicago street fight, so it's bound to get a little crazy. And I think Penelope Ford is going to kind of tip the scales in Joey's favor. So
Okada and Marty Scurll. I got to stop for a minute. I'm guilty of not watching enough indie stuff as I should, but my favorite member of the Bullet Club and my favorite I would pray that he goes to WWE and wins a title someday. I don't think it'll happen. I've seen him several times in the ring. Marty Scurll is my absolute positive 100% my favorite indie wrestler. So automatically, even though Okada, I don't know if this is his first match in the States, but
it's not.
Okay. I've got to go with Marty. I can't pick against him. It won't come out. I can't say that. I can't.
Goose.
I know if you
that umbrella's not gonna stop the rain, man. It's not.
No, I think that if I looked at the Vegas odds, Marty, I love you, brother, but I wouldn't even say,
bruh, except for Omega. Nobody beats the Rainmaker.
No, I want him to win, but it's one of those things where you're like, okay, this is not going to happen at all, but I hope it happens, especially after his historic. I mean, this guy's coming off of, I think he was PWI's #1 wrestler in the top 500 for 2017.
Yep.
And wasn't he the one teaming up with Kenny Omega, Golden Lovers?
No,
it wasn't.
He teamed up with him. I think the Golden Lovers is Ibushi and Kenny Omega.
Kota Ibushi, that's right.
Kota Ibushi.
I want Marty to win, but so by the way, have you ever looked up Marty Scurll's the finger snap?
Yeah, that's
and where he looks at the crowd like he's about to throw up, like that was gross. I just broke. So okay, ROH World Championship match: Jay Lethal versus the over the budget Battle Royal winner. Without going into, let's just pick it right now. Who is Jay Lethal gonna be fighting, and who walks out of that match the ROH World Champion? Now, do you want me to list the names in the over the budget Battle Royal?
Is it? Oh shoot, Jordan Grace is in there.
So yeah, Colt Cabana's in it.
Moose. We got Page.
I don't. Moose ain't gonna win. Billy Gunn's in it. There's from right now, they say there's only 4 other TBD members. So,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if there's. To be honest with you, they could have up to 5 or 10 TBD people. You know what? The over the budget battle royal could easily just be a.
I love the name of that, bruh. Over the budget.
Oh, it's great. And they should literally. To be honest with you, they should just do. You know what? A couple veterans, a couple no-name guys, a couple big indie guys show up, get eliminated. Maybe throw in X-Pac. Why not? You know what I mean? Like they can get a couple guys, like just like WWE does with their with the Royal Rumble. So the over the budget battle royal goes on to fight for the ROH World Championship against Jay Lethal. This has got. I know who I think it is.
So this is how for the people who are announced, because there's only 10 people are announced, right? Jordana Grace, Moose, Rocky Romero,
Billy
Colt
Gunn.
Cabana,
Yeah.
Ethan, Brian Cage, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Jacobs, Marco Stunt, Brandon Cutler, and Punishment Martinez. So if I had to choose from just that list, which I don't think anyone on that list is actually winning, I'd probably have to go with Jimmy Jacobs. Only because everybody else is kind of doing their own thing with different promotions, and you're gonna have to have someone who's going to be there full-fledged for Ring of Honor to defend that belt. So but if it's not Jimmy Jacobs, which I don't think it will be Jimmy Jacobs, my money's going to be on Neville, bruh. Neville's gonna come in, he's gonna clean up shop, newest member of ROH, baby.
That's what I'm thinking. I used to think, and I was telling 2 of my buddies about a year ago that, man, there's few wrestlers that if they left the WWE, they would tear it up, and Neville's one of them. And I think Neville's going to win the Battle Royal, and I think he's actually going to defeat Jay Lethal in what will be a great match. Yeah. Now, before we get into the... You know, I have a feeling... You know, let's go with the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi versus Rey Mysterio Jr., Phoenix, and Bandito. I think I've mentioned it earlier. The Bullet Club is going to be on Showcase here, so I've got the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi winning this one.
I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio. You don't book Rey Mysterio to lose. You don't.
But he doesn't have to take the pin. Oh, but you're right. He's a big name.
He's a big name. You don't book him to lose. So.
Kenny Omega and Pentagon Jr. in a match that was just announced about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so this is just a singles match, right? Not for the
correct.
belt.
Correct.
Okay.
Just a regular singles match.
Oh man, this one I kind of struggle with, man. I don't know, man. Like part of me wants to say it's going to be Pentagon that wins it. I think Kenny can afford to take a loss. It's not going to hurt his credibility at all. And I think it would be a bigger shocker if he loses versus if Pentagon loses. So I'm going to go with Pentagon.
Pentagon it is. I'm going to go with Kenny Omega just because it's a showcase of the Bullet Club and a showcase of the biggest names in indie talent. I just thought of something here I'm going to have to ask you about in a second. And then the actual main event, the NWA Championship, Nick Aldis, and hopefully I pronounce that right. I don't know who this guy is, unfortunately. Call me a bad mark.
He was Magnus and TNA with Douglas Williams as the British Invasion. He's also the husband of WWE Hall of Famer Mickey James.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I know who this guy is. Oh, wow. Awesome. Well, unfortunately, he's losing. I think Cody Rhodes is going to retain the belt. Or, well, win the belt, excuse me. I think he's going to capture the NWA Heavyweight Championship.
I don't think Cody's going to win this one, man.
But this is also a stick it to WWE pay-per-view.
It is, but you don't have to win. Like Cody's role is really unique right now. Like he's a brand name, but he's really focused on elevating everybody around him. So like he could afford to take an L for the sake of the business. And I think that's what he's going to do. I mean, I'm looking at his track record, and he's actually lost more matches than he's won, title matches than he's won. And I think it's just because of the sheer fact that he is just trying to put people over to build something special, which he has. So,
Yeah, I agree. I gotta ask: do we get a Chris Jericho sighting this weekend?
I don't think we do, because the guy who I think he's feuding with Tanahashi. I think
Doesn't matter who he's feuding with, because he's Chris Jericho, and he's a
he
free
is Chris
agent.
Jericho. I don't think you need him here. There's links to him, yes, but I don't think you need him here.
If you look at the card, it's a very independent card. And after reading and listening to podcasts and transcripts and things from Cody Rhodes himself, he did confirm CM Punk will not be on the card, and that they did do their due diligence, obviously, and reach out to CM Punk, see if he wanted to, but that CM Punk's, really busy in life and doing his MMA thing. And that it kind of came off to me that Cody thought, I don't need these big this is a true independent show. If I wanted a big, WWE presence or former presence, maybe I would have booked Hogan or something like that. But
exactly.
So I think it's a true indie show that just happens to be a really big show. So I know my eyes
would be all over it if that were the case, bro.
Oh,
and
of course.
I want creative control, brother.
Oh gosh, yeah. Speaking of Hogan, before we wrap up, did you hear the NWO reunion tour is going to go down?
I'm not interested. I think I've already seen some of it. Like, I think like a couple weeks ago, or it might have even just been last week, X-Pac was there with Scott Hall and Nash.
He's not in on it. He's not in on it, bro. Yep, neither is Bischoff. So, okay. Yeah, they took the pictures. It was like at a Comic-Con type thing. So Hogan, Hall, and Nash are doing a countrywide tour starting in Orlando with a Q&A session. It's just them three, and they're traveling the country doing a Q&A session. And I think it's officially dubbed, if you look on Hogan's Twitter, the NWO reunion tour. So I thought, if they came to San Antonio, would I be interested? Yeah, if the price is right and I can get a picture with them for $10-20, sure.
But is it really a reunion tour if you only have 3 people?
The original 3. The original 3.
To me, I don't think I would be interested in that, man. I think I would be more interested if they had like NWO and NWO Wolfpack minus Lex Luger.
What if they had the full NWO? So when you you can't take a picture on your cell phone because there's 2,756 members. 48 fake stings.
New world order. Nah, but like seriously, man. Like to me, if you just have the 3, it's a cash grab. Like that's all it is for me, and I'm not.
It's 100% grab.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see Vicious and Delicious. I would want to see Muda. I would want to see
Scott Norton. Everybody.
Scott Norton. I mean, I want to see Wolfpack, Conan. I mean, that's what I want to see. Because honestly, man, like before it got like really, really watered down, we had some great, matches and great segments with the other people, the NWO as well, before the other factions started to come out, like with the LWO and Major Guns and all that other stuff. But if it's just those 3, man, I'm not interested, and I'm not giving Hogan any of my money.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm in the same boat. I saw it and thought, the thought of it is cool, and would I wear an NWO shirt? Yeah, absolutely. But it just seemed like we're gonna go take some people's money tour, and
yeah,
I wasn't a fan of that. Anything else we got to touch on this week? I feel like we've capped on a lot.
Let me see. Yeah, well, maybe go outside the ring a little bit, man. I heard you you run marathons, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Raw was pretty good this week. We capped off a good week of rest.
You ain't gonna give me this time, sucker.
No, you know what's funny is I was gonna screenshot something earlier. I was at 124 meg download, and I was gonna screen cap it and send it to you before the podcast and be like, "Yo, we're good for the week, or we're good for the night." Yeah, I am. So I gotta give props. Hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, literally go on most major social media. Well, I guess Twitter, Instagram. Type in "It's Real Wrestling Podcast." You will find us, and you will see my ugly mug from last week. I almost posted a pic today. So Sage and Mark, I have to tell you guys, is a great friend of mine. We grew up very similar backgrounds, surprisingly, and we didn't meet, for 30 years of our life, 20 years of our life. Wrestling fans, we met each other, didn't even know we were wrestling fans until we outwardly said it in conversation one day. Found out we were hard marks. So Sage and Mark has taken upon himself, again, check us out on Instagram, to embark into running as a hobby. And you could see us, and it was in Pittsburgh that he ran a first major marathon. So it's inspired me to run these marathons. And if you check us out on Instagram, you'll see old Ben Goosen took a Smelfie last week. It was brutal. So my thought process is, through inspiration through Sage and Mark for sure, is to start training now to run a 10K. So I'm going to do it. Today I finished, I guess technically you could say a 5K. I ran 3 miles on my lunch break today. And part of my training is that it's in San Antonio at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock. So the humidity is through the roof, and you step outside and it's already 100 degrees outside. If you're lucky, sometimes 103, 105. So I'm training in the heat. And if you've seen your boy Ben Goosen, I'm not the skinniest of guys. I would say probably got a body like Kevin Owens on a good day at best. So not in the best shape. Used to hoop back in the day, but yeah, I got to give props to Sage and Mark for inspiring me to just get out. And I encourage our listeners, wrestling fans, get out, run on your lunch break, do something a little bit active, listen to our podcast while you go run, listen to some wrestling themes while you go run. Believe it or not, that's a huge motivator, is listening to wrestling music. Your mind starts to wander. So yeah, I got to give props to Sage and Mark for really inspiring me to get out. And I'm up to 3 miles. My goal is, a 10K is 6 miles, right?
10K is like 6.1 or 6.2 miles.
So my goal is a 10K by, it's about to be September. We'll say in a month, I think I'll be able to finish it. So I'm running 3 miles if I could run 3 miles in that bad heat. And my time isn't great, by the way. It's 35, 38 minutes, depending on the day. But, or the day and the diet. Definitely learn diet. Oh, man, I was prairie dogging. You know what? I was prairie dogging out there today, hurting. Like, oh, man, these bubble guts are not doing too good. And I realized, you know who runs like he's got bubble guts 24/7? John Cena. I'm going to have to upload some GIFs to the I got to find some good ones. I thought I had a good one this weekend. But yeah, got to give props to Sage and Mark. Sage and Mark, my inspiration for getting out and doing something about my health. Thank you.
You got this, son. You got this. You'll do great, man. I'm telling you. Marathon's right around. The hardest part is just signing up, man. Everything else is all cake. So you'll get this. But I'm definitely proud of you that you made the commitment to do it. I know that we've been on and off running partners for the better half of 4 years. So but it's good to see that you're out there, man. So yeah, but no, that's it, man. I was just curious, man. And I saw those pictures on Instagram, and our fans were wanting to know as well. So just thought I'd bring it up in conversation.
Yeah, thank you. I'm calling it Fat Balor to Fit Balor. I'm not saying I'm going to have the greatest, I'm not going to have Finn Balor's body. That's my goal, is to diet and exercise. And I used to want to be a wrestler, and you know what my vice is? I love drinking beer. Drink a lot of beer. Love me an ice cold beer. I also love potato chips. Any flavor. I'm not even biased. You throw a bag of chips in front of my face, and I start salivating. And hot wings. Those three things I just can't. And I don't have a sweet tooth. You know, some people have a sweet tooth. They eat all this candy and cakes and donuts and all that. If you told me, you know what, hey, Goose, you could never have candy or cakes again, I'd be like, I don't give a shit. But if you said you could never touch a beer again, or you could never touch potato chips or hot wings, be like, you out of your goddamn mind. You were out of your damn mind. Especially this week. Wingstop in the area had a $5 lunch deal or something like that. And I waited in line for an hour just to get me some wings for $5. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, it's in the diet, man. Just, I got to kick it. It's about health. I'll try to go from fat baller to fit baller and see how that goes. I'll give it some time. Maybe by next summer or something like that, I'll post an update pic. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we've had a hell of a show. Great. This could be one of the most, with All In this weekend, one of the most entertaining weeks in wrestling. Raw stepped their game up. SmackDown stepped their game up. And I truly wonder if it was WWE just stepping their game up, knowing that for the fans in general, wrestling, this is a very big weekend. Just overall, you know what I mean? Yeah. So other than that, I didn't have anything else I want to touch on. What about you, Sage?
Censor that cat, bro, because she was cleaning herself on the stream, bro.
Where is she? Oh, this one right here?
Yeah, she was all up in it.
Oh yeah, that's Elsa.
Gonna get this video taken down, bro.
Yeah, that's Elsa, and the other one's Olaf. I'll let you figure out where that name came from.
I can only imagine, man. No, that's it for me. Just real quick, plug in. Again, next week we're gonna be starting our reviews for the Mae Young Classic. Get your first access to our reviews at Patreon. Become a Patreon donor. Support your boys at www.patreon.com/IRWP. There you have some great content, some behind the scenes, early access, some bloopers. We got a lot of good stuff over there. Also, don't forget to visit our website, irwp.us, for all of our credentials and all great things IRWP related. That's it, Goose. Happy birthday, Michael Jackson.
Happy birthday, Michael Jackson. I think this would have been the 60th, right?
60th birthday, man.
60th birthday. Hit us up at Real WrestleCast. Type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast on IG. We've got some really good picks up, actually. We've got some good stuff this week. We do post frequently at Real WrestleCast. 777-419 IRWP, 777-419 IRWP. Call us. We will answer. We'll talk to you. Normally we like to have you on the podcast if you are going to call us. So call us and set up some time. 777-419 IRWP. I'm your boy Ben Goose, and that's the boy Sage DeMark. What, did I screw something up?
Yeah,
you got that smile.
There's no 777 area code, bro. 419-777 IRWP.
Oh, I got that backwards. I almost said 555 like in the movie.
Dyslexic ass.
419-777 IRWP. That's a botch. I'm out. Hey, it's your boy Ben Goose, and the thoughts and opinions expressed today are that of the host and not of the IRWP. Hey, hit us up at Real WrestleCast. Go to Instagram and type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Tag us in anything wrestling related or just personal related. Hey, remember, we're going from fat baller to fit baller over the next couple months, aka about a year and a half. It's your boy Ben Goose, and you'll see pics of me on It's Real Wrestling Cast. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, on Instagram. Again, hit us up. IRWP.us, where you'll find our information for our Patreon account. Thank you. Keep it real.